Time is money. Time is precious, and this is the time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the great city of Harcourt. On ATN, good day viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the great business city of Port Harcourt. This is the network's medium of bringing the happenings
to the land beyond the mountains through discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Payments from Nigerians abroad and heightened interest from foreign investors in local assets, including government debt securities. The last time the foreign reserves stood at this level, that was at $32.29 billion, was on September the 9th, 2017, when the CBN reported that it was at that level, and the decline in foreign reserves comes amid the CBN's intervention in the parallel market in a bid to crush and crash the foreign exchange rate. $7. Silver sells at $28.423. Copper sells at $4.423. Steel sells at $3,599. Iron ore is selling at $107. Lithium is selling at $111,500. Platinum is selling at $953. Titanium is selling at $52.50. And HRC steel is selling at $815. Now let's go into foreign exchange market. The forex market has one euro is approximately 1,068 US dollars. 1,068 US dollars, and the Japanese yen is $1 US is 154 Japanese yen, and one Great Britain pound is $1.247. One Canadian dollar is equivalent to $1 US dollar 376. The francs is approximately 909 cents to the dollar. The Australian dollar is approximately 645 to $1 to $1 US dollar. For the euros, you have 97 euros per franc. The Great Britain pound, you have it to the euro at 856 cents and pence. At the Japanese euro, you have Japanese to euros is 164, and the Japanese to the Australian placements, bookings, and commercials on ATN Business. And you can connect with us and watch us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. On X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Now on to some local and international business news on ATN Business. Oil marketers have paid a visit to the Port Harcourt Refinery Company in Rivers State and have expressed optimism that the plant may start releasing refined petroleum products this month. Dealers under the aegis of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has said that the rehabilitation of the plant has been largely completed. They say that officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, on March the 15th, 2024, the press reported that Mele Kyari has stated that the Port Harcourt refiners of NNPCL has stated and slated on Wednesday that they kept safety and regulatory compliance tests are currently ongoing at the plant. This comes as oil marketers have told our correspondents that the plant will start releasing products anytime soon. based on their visit to the facility, as well as information from their members that are working in the refinery. The Port Harcourt branch chairman of IPMAN, Tekena Ekpaki, who disclosed this during a telephone call soon. The IPMAN official said that his team visited the plant and saw the level of work at the facility, adding that the kickoff of production of refined products could begin before the end of this month. This is the month of April. In the March 15th report of the press, the KRA stated that mechanical works have been completed in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna. It didn't. The NNPC boss disclosed this during a press briefing after he appeared before the Senate ad hoc committee investigating the various turnaround maintenance projects of the country's refineries. KRA had also told the Senate that over 450,000 barrels of oil has been stocked already in the refineries of the Port Harcourt refinery. In December 2023, the press has reported that federal government announced that the mechanical completion of the rehabilitation work on the Area 5 of the plant in the Port Harcourt Refining Company has been set. It stated at the time that the first phase of the plant has been completed. The first phase of the plant has been completed, as the refinery facility would start refining 60,000 barrels of crude oil after the Christmas break last year. This, however, did not happen. About 170 liters of refined petroleum products can be obtained from a barrel of crude oil. This implies that 60,000 barrels per day production from Port Harcourt refinery can produce and provide an estimate 10.2 million liters of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, and other refined products once it begins operations. NNPC Limited, which is the manager of the refinery, had also revealed that the second phase of the facility will be completed in the fourth quarter of 2024, and this will lead to the refining of 150,000 barrels per day crude by the facility. Good news on the way. Now let's go into gas. Liquefied natural gas, the gas supply and purchase agreement, GSPA, to support the final investment decision for the $3.8 billion brass methanol project is to be executed in May 2024, next month. The Minister of State of Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekpo, has disclosed this. Ekpo, who announced this yesterday after a meeting with key stakeholders of the project in Abuja, said that the meeting was to confirm adequate gas supply to the brass methanol project by the NNPC, Shell, Total Energy, Nigerian Ajib Oil Company joint venture JV, as well as to determine the next steps to conclude and execute the GSPA and mature the phase 2 of the gas supply to the project. Ekpo, according to a statement by his media aide, Louis Iba, informed the gathering of President Bola Tinubu's strong interest in resolving issues relating to gas supply to the brass methanol project. He said that the president was passionate, very, very passionate about the speedy kickoff of the project, so make benefits to the country. Good news. The brass methanol project, located on Brass Island in Bayelsa State, is sponsored by Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Company Limited, BFPCL. The $3.8 billion project is made up of a gas processing plant, a methanol production and refining plant. It also possesses a product export facilities, amongst other things. Present at the meeting where the head of the joint venture earlier announced investment management, NNPC Upstream Investment Management Services, Mr. Olarewaju Igondon, owed to creditors. The bank further expressed its desire to minimize its involvement in the market, aiming to foster a scenario where prices are determined through the interactions of willing buyers and sellers. This approach emphasizes the importance of aligning market forces to determine prices rather than relying heavily on intervention from the banks. The CBN governor, Olayemi Cardoso, gave the explanation on Wednesday during the ongoing International Monetary Fund (IMF) World Bank Springs meeting holding in Washington, D.C., United States. Nigerians had raised concerns over significant downturn of the country's foreign exchange reserves, plunging approximately by $2.16 billion in 29 days amidst robust efforts to stabilize the naira. Now you can understand the fear of Nigerians. Data on the movement on foreign reserves obtained from CBN website showed that as of April 15, 2024, the foreign exchange reserves had fallen to $32.29 billion, a major decline from $34.45 billion recorded in March 18, 2024. The reserves also witnessed a 43-day surge, accruing by $1.28 billion from February 5th and February 18th. CBN had attributed the rise to increased remittance payments from Nigerians abroad and heightened interest in the foreign investments in local assets, including government debt securities. The Apex Bank noted that the increase was due to reforms in the foreign exchange market and increase in oil production, amongst others. But Cardoso, speaking at the Governor Talks event titled Catalyzing Change, Reforming Monetary Policy in Nigeria. He said this in Washington, D.C., stated that the bank will refrain from intervening in the exchange unless unusual circumstances arose, and stressed April 17, 2020, at Dedeji, the Apex Bank said it had reduced the loan-to-deposit ratio by 15 percentage points, down to 50%. All deposit money banks are now mandated to adhere to this revised LDR. The CBN has stated that the average daily figures will be utilized to gauge compliance with this directive. Furthermore, while DMBs, deposit money banks, are encouraged to maintain robust risk management practices in their lending activities, the CBN said it was committed to continuous monitoring of compliance with the directive, and Adedeji has called on all banks to acknowledge these modifications and adjust their monetary operations accordingly. He emphasized that the influence the banking sector and the wider Nigerian economy. On to liquefied natural gas. Nigeria's LNG is currently challenging the enforceability of an arbitral awards demand order issued by a United Kingdom's arbitration panel, despite a contractual provision that makes an award by the arbitral tribunal final and binding. Nigeria's LNG was held to be in breach of contract by failing to deliver 19 cargoes. Arbitration tribunal comprised of Mr. John Beachy, Mr. William Rowley, Mr. Neville Phillips, and in a related development, Shell PLC has made claims against the Venture Global LNG, a United States-based LNG exporter, for its breach of contract to supply LNG cargoes. According to a press report, Shell PLC has escalated its dispute with Venture Global LNG. It accused the liquefied natural gas producer of restricting supply accesses to it and other customers while exporting over $18 billion in LNG. And this is costing Shell and other European companies billions in lost profits. According to a media report, Shell chief executive Wael Sawan is very disappointed with the U.S. player Venture Global LNG over the non-delivery of contractual gas volumes from its Calcasio Pass export project in Louisiana. He argued that its actions could undermine confidence in the U.S. LNG supplies, claiming that Venture Global choose to sell LNG cargoes to often lucrative spot markets. Shell Executive Vice President Steve Hill at the recent Gastech event added that this contract breach is a wake-up call for the industry. The LNG business is underpinned by trust in a long-term contract, regulatory certainty, and the financing and development of LNG projects. You are still watching ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back shortly after this break. Please.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war.
And I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates. Focus.
The S&P ASX 500 rose 0.6% to 7,651 points. On Wednesday, the S&P 500 lost 0.6% to 5,022 points. That is down 4.4% since setting a record last late last month. To the U.S. stock exchanges, the Dow Jones Industrial and the Nasdaq Composite sank 1.1% to 15,683 points. Technology stocks slumped after ASML, a Dutch company that is a major supplier to the semiconductor for the start of 2024 than the analysts expected. Its weights on the S&P 500. The weakness for tech overshadowed stronger than expected profits. Reports from some of the big companies include 4% after reporting stronger results for the start of the year than analysts expected, lifted by strong demand from business flyers. That's those that fly on business class on United Airlines. Sharp tumbles for oil prices lessened investors' worries about inflation, which in turn helped Treasury yields ease up. The 10-year Treasury two cuts to interest rates from the Federal Reserve Bank this year, according to data from CME Group. With little near-term help expected from an easing of interest rates, companies will need to deliver fatter profits. And this is made to justify the big runs in the stock price since autumn. Travelers slumped. People stopped traveling 7.4% after insurers' quarterly results fell short of forecasts. This is to mean that insurance and two straight losses of more than 14%. Experts say that the stock is caught up in a frenzied trading driven by more of public sentiments around the former president than by business prospects of the company. That's the trending is based on the personality of Donald Trump rather than the business model itself. Now, in oil trading, the U.S. benchmark, that's U.S. benchmark crude, picked up 19 cents up to 82 cents to $87.54 per barrel. The U.S. dollar slipped to 154 Japanese yen from 154.19 Japanese yen from 100. Its maritime, logistics, and shipbuilding industries, calling the move a mistake on top of a mistake. In an official statement late Wednesday, China's Ministry of Commerce said that the U.S. provides hundreds of billions of dollars in discriminatory subsidies to its domestic industries. Yet, it accuses China of adopting the so-called non-market practices. In fact, the development of China's industries is imports in a bid to protect American interests. Chinese policies and subsidies for artificially low-priced Chinese alternatives. In an address to the union workers in Pittsburgh on Wednesday, Joe Biden accused China of cheating in its steel trade practices. Competition with China and not conflict as a baseline. The kingdom has been implementing an extra voluntary cut of 1 million barrels per day since July 2023 to help the OPEC group's efforts to stabilize the oil market. Saudi Arabia's crude production rose by 55,000 barrels per day month on month in February to a 7-month high of 9.01 million barrels per day, according to the JODI data. The Saudis have pledged to keep their crude production at about 9 million barrels per day until the end of June 2024. The kingdom has been keeping its pledge and hasn't produced above the self-imposed quota under the OPEC Plus deal. Meanwhile, they reported that another weekly build in crude oil inventories that weighed on benchmarks as it brought the total oil in stock to the highest